Welcome to Solutions with Nimabelli YouTube channel. Hello guys, in this video we are going to know what are the important topics of POP and what should we write for that important topics. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಆರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್, ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಏನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಇದು ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಕೋರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್. ಬೈ ನೋಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ concept and knowing some theory, we can easily score up to 18 to 20 marks. If you write correctly they gave 20. If it's not some 2 points 3 points miss adrunu, at least we score 15 marks. Our goal in from module 1 to get 15 marks. Okay, so for that 15 marks, the important topics are the first is the characteristics of computer. Here they has the questions: define a computer and explain the characteristics of the computer. For that questions you write this diagram, that is economy, number of IQ, automation, large memory, accuracy, versatile, speed, diligence. After writing this six after writing these characters, so write 2 to 3 points for each characters. Okay, then you get 6 marks for that question. Now second question is the generations of the computer. There are 5 generations are there, each generation having the different technologies. That is, hardware technology is different from one generation to another generation. Memory, what type of memory is used for the each generation is different. Software technology is different. Examples, give any example for that. For example, they has this question, generations of the computer. You need to write all the 5 generations. And if you consider third generations, the hardware technology of the third generations was integrated chips, and integrated chips of several components such as transistor, capacitors and resistors on a single chip to avoid the wire interconnections between the components. Next, memory. In third generation memory, the larger magnetic core memory was used as the primary memory. Larger capacity magnetic tapes and magnetic disks were used to store data and instruction. Software technology. Programming was done in high-level programming languages such as COBOL, Pascal and basic time-sharing operating systems was used. Next, where the examples we are having the IBM 360/370, PDP-8, PDP-11. Like that we need to write for this generation. At least ಏನು ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ವೇರ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಯಾವ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ವೇರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಮೇಡಪ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಯಾವುದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಟೇಪ್, ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಬರಿಬೇಕು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜನ್ನು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂತ ಬರಿಬೇಕು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವುದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 1 2 to 3 ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಮುಗೀತು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್. Basically there are four classifications of the computers, that is supercomputers, mini computers, mainframe computers and microcomputers. Write the definitions for each and their specialized and unique characters of each computers and example for those. Then that's enough for the classifications of the computer. Then they has describe the basic organizations of the computer with neat model. This is the model of computer organizations. You should write this and explain how the executions or how this works. Okay, so next, explain any 4 input output devices. Here we should know they must explain any 2 input output devices, or they must explain 4 input devices or explain 4 output devices. For this we should take any input devices, explain, write something about those keywords or keyboard. So take keyboard and write something about that and their users, applications. You should write for all those things. For output devices also, and different type of output printers, LED printers, or there something laser printers, or there all those things you should need for output devices also. So by knowing this in the part 1, almost all in the 1ABC section, both 1A will be the part 1, or 1A questions will be from part 1 question, part 1 topic only, and that's cover this. Next, come to the second part, that is the structures of program. Very important program, very important questions is structures of C program. If they ask these questions, you need to write these structures and explain the each and every terms. Preprocessor derivative, as you include header file, we know that what is the purpose of using the header file, and global declarations, why we need to make do the global declarations, and ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋ ಬಿಡ್ತಿರೋ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಮಿಸ್ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. So that's why you need to write main functions. After the main functions, what is define the functions, what are local declarations or declaring the variable or initializing the variables, what are the statements. After writing this diagram, explain each and every terms. That's enough for the structures of C program. So next is files used in the C programs. There are 4 files are used in the C program, that is source file, header file, object file, executable file. Rarely ask this question from one model paper, that I think model paper 3 they ask this question. So you know these questions and know the 4 files and give some content to that file, different types of files, and write some example here. Then after that, executing the C program, very important is executing the C program. How the C program is executing in the executed. See, first it starts from the source, then it's going to the compiler which converts the source into the machine language, and if they require any object, then it should be the object file, linker, executable file. If extra, if they in the program we mentioned any libraries, then library files are joined in the linker type. Okay, so if they ask executing the C program, first you need the complete these things, write these things and explain each and every block. That's enough for executing the C program. Then basics data types, very important. Basic data types, characters. In this, if they ask the basic data type, you should write the character, integer, float, double, valueless, and format specifier, that is a percentage c, percentage d, percentage of, percentage, like that, lf, like that. You should read the format specifiers. After that, size, width of those things, and what is the functions of the characters, means in the character which needs to store the alphabets values, like that. Integer, we need to store the numbers. Floating point, decimals numbers we need to store. Okay, like that you need to write for the basic types of data types. And next we are having the variables and the identifiers. In these variables and identifiers, first you should know the variables, define the variables, and we're having the something called some of the rules for the variables. Okay, write that rules and declaration and initializations of the variables you should write for that question. And identifiers is also like the variables only, they has the explain variables and identifiers. Most probably they have asking explain the variables only. next Next topic is very important, that is input output statements. In the module 1 you should draw it. ಏನು ಬಿಡ್ತಿರೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಓದಬೇಕು, ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ನ ಓದಬೇಕು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್, ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಸಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಅದಷ್ಟು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಅದಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದನ್ನಾದರೂ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ we can score easily 50 marks in this module. Here the input and output statements. Input and output statements are printf and scanf statements are also called as an input and output statements. So for this you should know this syntax. If they has, first take the printf and explain something is going to print whatever the content we should go and all. Then write the syntax, explain this syntax, and with respect to width, with respect to modifiers, with respect to flag, with respect to type, you should explain the printf statements. And also write for scanf statements, write this syntax, explain this syntax. For the scanf statements also explain with respect to the width, modifiers, flag and type. That's enough for the input output devices. Basically ನಮಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ 1ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಕೇರಳದ ರೇರ್ ಕೇಸಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೋ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ನೋ. ಓಕೆ, ಥಿಯರಿ ಏನೇನು ಹೇಳಿದೀವೋ ಅದಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡೋದ್ರೂ ಸಾಕು. ಇಷ್ಟು ಏನು ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ, ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ನೇ ಕೇಳಿರೋದು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ರಜೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ದೆ ಮ್ಯಾಸ್ ದ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಂತೂ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ದ ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ.